Southern California, the birthplace of beach volleyball. And this is Venice Beach and its world-famous boardwalk. But today on Prime, we have something a little bit different. Because just 1 mile inland, in the backyards of Harding Avenue, it's the legendary Shasta Venice Backyard Championships, presented by Paul Mitchell. Prime presents the Shasta Venice Backyard Championships. A beautiful day in Southern California for volleyball, right in your own backyard. Hi everybody, I'm Denny Lennon.
Good to see things haven't changed. Hi everybody, welcome. We're glad everybody's here. Wait till you see what we got in store tonight. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to visit back on what was the VBC, or the Venice Backyard Championships, a volleyball tournament that started in 1983 in a single yard. That yard, 932 Harding Avenue, and we called it the backyard volleyball capital of the world. Over the next 13 years, 5 backyards and 3 front yards came into play, and over 1,000 people would convene on Harding Avenue and celebrate community, family, and volleyball. Tonight, we get a chance to start to tell the story that ended 25 years ago. But I want to temper everybody. Tonight, we only begin. You see, we have tons of archives, lots of video that we'll share with you over every Tuesday. But tonight is more like a trailer or a preview. And we have 6 Lennons on the show. And so you can imagine this show is going to proceed as this show will proceed. Pretty soon I'll start to bring them all in, but first I want to say this. I'm in total control. I call all the shots, and when anything goes wrong, I'll take none of the blame. Okay, with the ground rules out of the way, it's time to bring in the 2-time champion of the VBC, 1993 and 1994 champion, arguably the greatest player in the history of the game, Mike Bowley. Hi, Mike.
Oh,
go time, Mike. It's go time.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm catching up on my Argonaut 1993. Pretty interesting.
Yeah. It's a good time. It's a good read. It's a good read.
Yeah, it was interesting. No, welcome, man. This is awesome. I'm so excited. I think this has been in the making for so long, and we finally got 6 or 7 of us that are going to come on tonight. And it's just a start, it's just a start of what we have. There's so much out there. And, I think it's going to be great once we get this thing going.
Mike, I wanted to bring you in because I think the two of us have both taken what we learned in the backyard and parlayed it into a volleyball career. I with the Amateur Athletic Union and helping to develop the sport of beach volleyball across the country. And you've done your share of volleyball. You jumped out of the backyard. Yeah,
I think I was very fortunate enough to continue my playing career, and I got to play professionally for about 7 years. And I run a club now, and I coach, and so I'm able to give back to the kids. And so volleyball was something that I think we always enjoyed playing. I took it a little further, and it all paid off. But BBC is where it started for me, which is just incredible.
Everything did start in the backyards, and it started with you and a man we know as the box cobbler in the VBC circles, and we all know as Ray, Ray Castro. And I want to bring him in right now, and let's start telling that story. So, hey, Ray.
How you guys? How you doing, Mike?
Ray, rock the Casbah, Ray.
Yeah, or box cobbler, whichever one.
Scott.
So how about you two tell the story about, how this got started, this legendary event?
Ray, you want to start?
What I remember is being going to Mike's house and, goofing around like we always did. And I guess we had a couple of games in your backyard, and I don't know if I presented it to Michael or Michael presented it to me. That part I don't remember, but we go, you know what? We ought to have a tournament, like a volleyball tournament, a two-man volleyball tournament in Denny's backyard. And it went from there, Yeah,
I seem to think that, Denny, you were the host at the time, and we spend a lot of time in your backyard. And I think it just, as us Lennons do, we're so good at putting on events. We're so good at doing marketing and PR for so many different things. It was like, let's bring in this group and let's see if we can start something here, because we have the ability to do it. And what started really small ended up growing. But Ray, I think you and I, when we first started in '83, we walked around handing out handmade invitations to friends and family. And we walked, and I'll never forget, we walked in that little neighborhood, and we got 12 teams that year. So, that was fun. We did the legwork.
When we did this, I don't even think we told Denny yet.
No, we didn't. No,
I remember it got thrown at me, and I was like, I better tell my mom.
Yeah.
We're going to throw a tournament, and Denny doesn't know about it yet, but we're going to throw a tournament.
I want to let our
we knew you'd say
our viewers know, Mike, that as these pictures come through, want to thank everybody for participating and sending in some of these archives, but in particular Kathy Darris and Tina Boley. So cousins Kathy and Tina sent in a lot of work. Ray, you, like Mike and I, were able to take what you learned in the backyards and eventually turn it into something promising. And Box Cobbler Entertainment has signed a long-term deal with Sports Stories with Denny Lennon, and it all started in the backyard.
Oh, absolutely. It launched me to being the box cobbler of entertainment, per se.
Yes, per se.
And it's fun. It's great.
Ray, how long did
Mike,
it actually?
Denny, I think you froze.
Hold on, Ray. I got a question for Ray regarding box cobbler.
You're on.
Ray.
Yeah.
How long did it actually take you to make that box? Because there were a few of them, I think. There wasn't just one. There was a few boxes that you made. And they got better as we progressed. No?
Yeah.
I think you asked me how many did I make? Boxes? Yes. Well, it's hard to say, Mike, because a lot of my boxes were in demand at that time, and I can't really remember how many. I could have done 2, 3 of them. It's the original one. I wish I knew where it was, but I'm thinking somebody stole it and wanted to keep it as a souvenir. And if you're out there, bring it back, please.
It could be on the black market, Ray. So we'll hear a little bit more from you. Ray's he does the jingles and also provides entertainment at the end of Sports Stories, podcasts and Facebook Lives. At this time, though, Mike, let's bring in Kip Lennon, who will talk a little bit about how this was a family event. Ray, we might put you down in the dugout, but be prepared to come back. But then again, it is a lot of Lennon, so it's not going to be easy to get back on the screen.
I know.
The kid.
I know.
Because he's not in the bullpen.
Denny, I think it's important to just kind of mention box cobbler. So what was that box actually for? It was for our actual draw.
We're actually picking up the name.
Right? I mean, you had a box created for our A players and our B players.
Yeah.
And whatever you had in the middle, it's still unknown. But there were A and B, and it got bigger as we progressed. So
There's no
middle.
middle.
That we were very clear that you were in charge of making sure that A and B box.
Absolutely. I also want to compliment you, Ray, on getting a runners-up. Finish at the VBC. I mean, me and Mike, we have championships, but we got another runner-up that would like to come on up, and so let's bring in Kip Lennon to talk a little bit about the tournament.
In 3,
2, and 1. Hi, Kip.
Kip. We don't need to distance ourselves. We already have.
The
Kip, I
computer
think it's only when you go outside.
it took a foot away from me, the computer, so I have to be careful. I can't hear you. I'm wearing a mask.
Oh.
I just go topical sometimes with the humor,
Yep.
because the pandemic is really funny. Yeah, a lot of class. Yes, I have the dubious honor of being right up there on the list of people.
Whoa, you lost Kippy.
Whoa.
I don't know what's going on with Kip. He's going in and out.
Well,
I thought you swiped them out, Denny.
I wouldn't. This isn't that show, right? This isn't that show. We'll get back to Kippy. Maybe we'll give him another chance. But we know. Are you ready for commercials?
Sure.
Nope. Okay.
Yeah, we can do commercials.
So I'll tell you what. Kip
make
was going to talk and kill some time, but we're going to roll into commercial.
Can I make something clear?
Sure.
The box was magical, Mike. Nothing crazy. It was magical. It was love. It was made with love.
Okay.
I don't know about this middle stuff. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. A, B, partners. That's it, Dave.
Fair enough.
Fair. Wow, that's a good shot. Okay. Before we get Kip back, how about we go to a commercial? Because
Hi everyone, Marley here. I just wanted to come in and tell you about our social media and make sure you're following us. If you want to email the show with any cool or interesting stories, you can email us at info@sportsstoriespodcast.com. Denny's Twitter is @sportsstoriesdl. You can go tweet at him. Our Instagram, you can go find us there. We post daily. It's Sports Stories Podcast. Next is our Facebook. Facebook is where we put our live shows every day. You can go there, facebook.com/sportsstoriespodcast. Next is our YouTube. Make sure you're going and subscribing to our YouTube channels. This is where we house all of our Thursday podcasts as well as all of our Facebook Live events. And please subscribe to us wherever you listen. Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Just make sure you're pressing that subscribe button so we can keep moving the show forward. And finally, we're bringing you some fun and interesting stories on Facebook every day of the week. So join us for our Facebook Live at 5, and that's Pacific Standard Time. So tune in. Thanks everyone for following the show. Make sure you're pressing that subscribe and like button and help us grow the show. Thanks everyone.
Gilbert's in Santa Monica. Gilbert's El Indio in Santa Monica. Family owned. Mexican food, margaritas, guacamole, cerveza. Gilbert's in Santa Monica. Gilbert's El Indio in Santa Monica. ¿Me puedes dar una margarita, por favor, señor? Oh,
man, that's our box cobbler. One of the people who didn't get Gilbert's on this particular night was Kip Lennon, and I think he's back in the mix. Kip, you back?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. My computer keeps checking out. I don't know why. But Ray, legendary Ray, with that commercial.
Makes you want some Gilbert's, Kip.
Wow. Yeah. Apparently, I don't get it though, but everyone else gets it free because they're the sponsors of the show, and I'm just somebody that just shows up. It's not a big deal.
It's all right. Well, you didn't win a championship.
So what I was saying before was I have the dubious honor of having one of the winningest records of the VBC and never winning the big one. And you and I had a chance to win the big one, and I had to go to work that day to sing on the show Solid Gold. And yeah.
I remember I tried my best. I said, I don't know where this singing thing's going, but I do know you're going to want this VBC championship.
Yeah. And you were right, because sometimes doing the right thing is not the right thing. And going to work for, I just shouldn't have gone. But anyway, where's everybody else? What happened to the fellas?
We're going to bring some other people back, but Kip, talk a little bit about the family legacy in Venice, just so we put a little historical context on the Lennons and in Venice, and how this is kind of an outgrowth of that.
Denny and I are cousins. Our dads were brothers. And our dads and all of their brothers and their sister Mary were very much into sports, very much into singing, very much into everything that our family's still into now. But in our neighborhood, it was very much about like, hey, let's do this. Let's get together, play some sports. Let's go down and watch everybody's game. We had our Thanksgiving turkey bowl. We had our Halloween show. We had our 4th of July show in the backyard. We're into big productions and big community-involved things. My 4 oldest sisters are the Lennon sisters from Lawrence Welk Show, in case anybody doesn't know that. And so we grew up around a lot of singing, a lot of entertaining, a lot of stuff. And our dads were really funny and really into being super competitive. So all of us still going down into the next generations, we're all very, very competitive. We're just as much into sports as we are into music. So to bring the VBC together on our street, when you guys called me and said, hey, we're doing this tournament at Denny's house. And I don't even think we picked the teams the night before that first tournament. I think it was the day of, right?
Yeah.
It was more like it started in the afternoon. It wasn't like start at 7 o'clock in the morning or anything.
Right.
And but it was just so cool to think, here we go. we're starting a new thing. Because once we all got our hands around something like an idea, oh, it's this kind of a thing, then all of a sudden you guys were just on fire, getting sponsorships and food carts out front, and just all closing off the street, and then you just want to invite all your friends, and it just grew and grew and grew and grew.
No doubt, it became a lot of fun then. But it's like building a program or coaching a team when they're young. I like the beginning, and the beginning had so much heart and fun, and you could just see where it was going to go, because once like Michael Lennon or whatever brought just one speaker and a microphone.
Yeah, it changed everything, because suddenly we were on center court razzing the players. Yeah. And I know everyone's going to chime in, but I just want to say the beauty of the VBC was that it was the great equalizer, because you could bring in these pro guys that can just beat a ball like unbelievable, and they're like unstoppable. And then you put them with some random person chosen out of the other B box that's just a setter that can barely set. Right. And suddenly that guy, he's not having that good of a tournament. And everyone's like, oh my God, he's in this. And it's like, yeah, watch. And and it's all fate. It's all just fate when you pick the teams the night before. And so it would always equalize. And these pro guys almost never totally dominated. Michael Boley was in our family, but he was dominating pretty big. He was also playing on the pro tour. But
yep, and it did. It took him a while to get that championship. We gave him a very hard time, because we knew once he got it, he'd get another one. So that was a lot of fun. But as long as you're going to bring up champions, Kip, let's bring in two more. One from 1987 and one from 1988, and they just happen to be brothers. Let's see if we can bring them both in. That'd be Michael and Kevin, and Virtued on that championship. That's DB.
My bad.
Hi, DB.
I brought in two different brothers.
Oh, well, we can do that.
Sorry.
Hey, guys.
I'm fixing.
Hi, Mike. Yeah.
My bad.
Good times. But the two great teams, 87 and 88 champions, Mike and Kevin.
Nice. Wow.
Oh, hey, am I live?
Am I live?
Yeah, you're on. You're both on.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Anyways, this mask was made by my wife. She sells them online.
Oh, there's that free food. I really hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to show you my Gilbert's margarita.
My Gilbert.
Yeah. That's what it's sponsors for.
How about that Gilbert shit?
Hey,
Gilbert, Santa Monica.
Catchy. Really catchy.
Really good.
Yeah. Mike, I'd like to ask you a question. Your team, with Mike, you and Mike Sanders, you're often compared to the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team as a great, story and a great overachieving team, having won that championship. Tell me a little bit about that year. I think it was 1987 that you ran through the competition and grabbed the title.
It's all kind of a blur. Something just comes over me. And, between the PA system and Kip and I announcing and everyone taking turns, and then it's like, oh, Mike, you have a game? That was the last thing on my mind, which is very similar to U.S. hockey team.
Yes, it is. It is. Kevin, you got yourself a chip in 1988. It was one of the hottest days in VBC history.
It was 125 degrees, Denny.
Wait.
Yeah, let me take a drink of margarita because it was hot that day.
Yeah. Kevin's got a nice, fuzzy lens going. It looks like we're watching Emmanuel on TV. Yeah.
Kevin, are you in nature?
I don't know if you guys could see me on the screen, but I had to slam the door. Did you hear that?
That was dogs in there.
Yeah. My Gilbert's guacamole tipped over, and the dogs were barking. And there's a huge mess on the deck right here next to me. And so there's a little bit of tension right now in the air. It's a little tension. Anyways,
could you show some of the,
Michael, I did win the BBC in '88. It was 125 degrees with 90% humidity.
Wow. Michael Lennon, when you won the championship with Mike Sanders, were you the A or the B player? You were the A, right?
You're damn right.
Wow. Wow. Well done.
It wasn't very good back then.
Yeah.
The caliber of play was.
Yeah. Will Campbell scored 100 points, but did you see who he scored 100 points
Yeah,
against?
exactly.
Denny disappeared. Where'd Denny go?
Yeah.
Hey, Denny, come back. Denny.
It's all right. We can
Come
run a
back.
show.
Oh,
Ah,
hey, hold on. I'm gonna go back to Michael's comment about it wasn't very good back then. You know who you beat in the finals?
whoa.
You beat me.
You're rotten.
I know.
You get my reaction close up?
Oh, it's so good. Yes.
Really? Did I really beat you in the finals? I swear I don't remember.
Me and Tim Matheson.
Oh, my
he was
gosh.
the champ. That guy was good.
Yeah. The Twin Towers. The Twin Towers.
The Twin Towers.
Well, but I think that's what,
Sorry, I'm drinking these margaritas, but I won the BBC in '88, and I still haven't gotten over the heat wave. It was 125 degrees that day.
I heard a 90% humidity. That's pretty good, Kev.
Yeah.
I think what's funny about this, it's not really funny, but it's so cool, is that what we accomplished in those 9 years, like what we did back in 1983 all the way through to 1995, I think was the last one that we did. But and to see that you won, I won. Kip never did, but he was close. But it just showed you how the parity in the volleyball tournament, and Kip kind of touched on it a little bit. We had pros playing, and they couldn't even come close to winning. Like, I think 2 of them out of the 9 years won. But those are some fun times. I mean, wasted point, that's used now. Like, you guys got on the PA and started using wasted point. It's like a wasted point. And people are like, what are you talking about?
That's not as pertinent now because of rally scoring, but it was a big deal back then. That used to drive the uncles crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
But you know what's funny too is that we should mention my great uncles, your dads, and their brothers started the beach volleyball in Santa Monica, and I think that's important in Venice. Like they're in a book. Like I have this book, and they're listed in the book as they started the first 2 men. Billy, I think it was Billy, Ted, Jimmy, and they started in Tommy. Yeah, 2 men beach volleyball in Venice, and I think that's so cool. So it's just, we've come so far from that. It's so
Hey,
cool.
Mike, I'm going to jump in here, boys, because we know how far it came, and it got to the point where even, one of the key anchors in local sports came out to do a feature on the BBC the day before, and I think everybody's going to enjoy this piece from Brett Lewis, Channel 4, KMBC, and I think this is probably 92, 93 range.
What do I get rid of?
3, 2, 1. Cut to the commercial.
Oh, everybody?
Everybody out. We'll be right back.
Coming back. KMBC. All right.
Just leave me in.
No, me.
There is definitely a shortage of games these days, what with baseball canceled and hockey postponed. But this is Southern California. When there are no sports around, we make up our own. Tomorrow, 64 two-person teams will play all day in a double elimination volleyball tournament known as the Venice Backyard Championships.
11 years ago, myself, Denny Lennon, and Ray Castro decided we needed to have a volleyball tournament in the backyard. Denny said it would be fine if we did all the work. We made up some flyers and went out and delivered.
Two-person teams will play all day in a double elimination volleyball tournament known as the Venice Backyard Championships.
11 years ago, myself, Denny Lennon, and Ray Castro decided we needed to have a volleyball tournament in the backyard. Denny said it would be fine if we did all the work. We made up some flyers and went out and delivered into mailboxes of our friends and family.
It all started here in Denny Lennon's backyard. This year, there'll be courts in 5 backyards and 3 front yards in the neighborhood. Mushroom growth of the tournament has necessitated a move of center court from Denny's backyard to his front yard. There's some wonderful memories here.
Some wonderful memories. Given the fact I sleep not 20 feet from center court, that was a huge advantage for me.
Yeah.
And now I got to add another 100 feet onto that. I don't know, Brett.
Well. The tournament begins with custom-made music.
It's the 11th Venice Backyard Championships.
The largest backyard championship in the world.
They've even got corporate sponsors for this thing. I was complimenting you guys on how you hadn't sold out. I hardly see 25 commercial plugs here.
First and foremost, Brett, we don't sell out.
Yeah.
BBC, we not sell out. We just like to have a good
share with sponsors
in the experience.
Yeah.
Sure, if Killer Luke wants to come in and share in the VBC experience, we're all for that.
You're a giver.
Sure, you bet we are.
And this year, they'll be shooting the hunks of the VBC calendar with all the stars.
Crowd favorite, Meaty Petey Valenzuela.
I'm sorry?
Meaty Petey.
Meaty Petey. Okay.
He's been known to go through a few courtside banners into the crowd, and they like that.
I guess so.
Sweaty.
Kev.
Hey, Denny. Hey.
That was a good interview you did there, Kev.
Sorry. Gilbert is our sponsor, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Kev, that was a big moment for you, the NBC News.
I didn't get to see any of that. Unfortunately, with this coronavirus, things get... What's so funny?
But Kev, let's just go back. Hold on. So you didn't get a chance to see it, but you know what you said. So what was
remember? I didn't. Mike,
what was so special about meeting Petey in the calendar?
In the what?
And the calendar.
What was so special?
You made it very special, like Brett Lewis, the anchor for NBC. You went right.
He did. He got a kick out of the fact that we called him Meaty Petey in the calendar, didn't he? Yeah. If you give me a second while we're talking, I could pull up a picture if you want. I can print it out.
I think we got to give Kevin the cut. Hi, DB.
Hi, Denny. How are you, bud?
Tell me something. When you saw that NBC piece, that bring back some memories?
Yeah, I was texting Sacramone right away. I forgot how, obviously we all had more hair back then, but I forgot how he kind of handled all the courts and built them all when we started having more courts on the outside in the different houses. And it was funny to watch. And then obviously watching Michael with the glasses, the Albert Einstein glasses.
Or goggles. They weren't glasses.
Those were round glasses.
Yeah.
Don't lie, bro. I mean, we still compete no matter where we are, but don't lie. So that was funny. But first and foremost, Denny, I want to say I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy and staying with protocol. We'll be over this soon. And it's awesome to obviously be on here with all you guys, but just please keep it up and we'll be out of this sooner than later so we can have more fun and be able to actually interact in person with each other and do this. But it was awesome, Denny. I mean, the whole atmosphere, Kip even brought it up where the pros came in and they couldn't compete with Michael and they couldn't compete with Michael Lennon. And it's because it's such a different game. It was a small game and you weren't going to get set perfect every time. And even, I mean, my man right here, RIP to my man right here, when he came in and won, that was a huge deal. He never played volleyball in his life, but he had a competitive heart just like our whole family does. And got through it all. So that was, I think, for me, what BBC was all about was that even though you had a number one player, you never knew who was going to come through that bracket and surprise you as the A or the B. It was awesome.
That backyard court back then, Mike, it was a lot of fun just to get on that center court game.
Yeah, Denny, the confinement, and then plus once it started to grow, more people started to come. And then I think you guys actually ended up building a deck off your backyard, if I'm not mistaken. And I think we had VIP seating on that deck and it was for the aunts and the uncles, which was really cool. But yeah, just the crowd and every ball was live. It was off the roof or off the wall or off the bushes. But that atmosphere of the confinement, I felt like I was gigantic in that little backyard. And let's not forget that court was 20 by 40, which, we'll get into this a little later, DL and DB, but, the volleyball, the regular size court for volleyball back in the day was, I think it was 30 by 60.
30 by 60.
Yep. And now the court is similar to what our VBC was. So not saying we might have been the starting point for that, but we were way ahead of our time. There's no doubt. And it was just a blast. I mean, it was so much fun. So much fun. and people were fired. It was a party. It was a one-day huge party.
I think also, Denny and Mike, we also came at such the peak time for anything to do with volleyball. I mean, they started changing indoor racquetball courts, and there was a thing called volleyball, and they started doing a lot of things with volleyball in '83. And I remember that our first couple years, we weren't blocking over, which was a rule that was changed in the early '80s. And so I have some old pictures. I remember trying to block my brother, and I was, 3 feet off the net. I didn't want to go over and press over. And so that's what made the game for us as well, to be able to compete against the big giant guys that were out there, because no one could block Lorinos and Frank Efrons and stuff. Even though they were giant, tall guys that can jump real high, you couldn't block over. So it had to be a skill not to be able to do that and still block the ball. It was a small court, so you can cover behind you.
We have somebody wrote in, wants to know where my custom hat is. Mike,
It's on its way. It's on its way.
Yeah, it's on its way. Okay.
So this is another family function that we end up doing each year at the annual Gillis Volleyball Tournament that Denny used to play in, but no longer. So I think that for the 50th this year, we'll get DL. DL will be back. He'll be back. We're going to get one of these hats.
Did you see I moved my championship trophy into my picture, Mike? If I go into this side box here, you saw that?
Yeah. So what I want to ask you. So we organized that tournament, right? We had every day for 5 weeks straight. We were in your back house organizing, calling sponsors, and then when that time came to play, how competitive did it get? Like it was on. Right? It was a fun day. Like we were doing so much, but we started to go out and play. But you winning in was it 80? No, it's 88.
It was the greatest team ever in 1986. Tony Lennon and I going undefeated and commonly referred to as the greatest team ever. So if you either said 1986 champions or greatest team ever, that would be me and Tony.
That's the fight. Okay, I get it. But let's not forget that was competitive. Like it was a competitive volleyball tournament. And I think that, it was started off as side by side. I don't know if you remember, on that small court. And eventually, gradually, you started throwing the B player up to the net because that guy could cover the whole court. The A player could cover the whole court.
The interesting thing about that 1986 tournament was still on 1 yard, and that was just 932, and it was a 32-team double elimination tournament. 1 day, 1 yard, started I think at 7 a.m. and end at like maybe midnight or something.
Mm-hmm. It was gnarly. I remember the next year it was like we had to bring in lights because it was unreal. There was nothing like it. And it was right on the heels of the 1984 Olympics, which were held in Los Angeles. So that kicked it off. They were a gold medal winning team, and that just propelled the game of volleyball even further. It really did, because it was in our backyard, and they won a gold medal in 1980. There was no Olympics. We boycotted, I believe. And in 84, we won a gold medal, and that VBC just took off. I mean, it was incredible. But it was all because of family and friends and the support that we had. And it was, God, there's so many memories. And when we get into this deeper and deeper, I mean, to have people like, Kathy Darris and Mimi, for God's sakes. I mean, I think she was one of the first ones to sing our national anthem.
Yeah, we got that. We're going to dive into the archives and bring that out. DB, I got a question for you. Do we dare bring back your uncles, Michael and Kevin, or should I, do a quick plug and then go back to them?
Well, first of all, I want to say it sucked always having to play my brother because I never beat him. And we love each other very much, but I don't know if you'll find two more hated people on the court when they're playing each other that want to win so much. And now I'm trying to teach my son how to be humble, yet I was never humble whether I won or lost when it was with him. But
good times.
Being said, let's cut and get some commercials in. And I'm a little bit pissed off that I have to even look at his face because it's just horrible memories of losing and never getting my name on that net. And then as it got later on in the tournament, and then you have Lee Legrand's and I mean, not Karch, but you had all these big guys, and I had no chance. So, there we go. I'm sure that was probably when we were blocking over. But
while I have both of you here, let's be clear that the first 1983 champion was your father, Wayne Boley. So he seems to have like beat you both to the punch.
All started with him, but again,
there's an asterisk there. There's definitely an asterisk. You know that.
I have a plan to bring Wayne in to defend that. I mean, he might be able to talk his side of it. He's got a little practice in that area, and I'd like to see him come in and defend that championship.
I think you should, and I'm sure he'll find a way with his hands to make you believe that what he did was exactly right. So I'm sure he'll find a way. Absolutely.
And he's a lawyer, so just be aware. I'm
aware.
My favorite line for him is, "You were right. I was less right." So it was never wrong. I was just less right.
Okay. While we're on the thing of family, I got a couple of plugs to make for upcoming shows, which include Jimmy Jr. So I want everybody to know about that. And then I'm going to circle back to you guys. Probably bring in your uncles and Kip and so forth. So I'll be right back. Cue the. Okay, everybody. Hey, so 4 days a week we go with a Facebook Live. And one day we drop our podcast and video podcast. And Facebook Live tomorrow, Wednesday, is going to feature Dr. Roger Gowdy. Now, he's the president of the Amateur Athletic Union that oversees close to 1 million young athletes competing in like 40 sports across the country. You can imagine they're all pent up. They want to get out and play. So Dr. Gowdy is going to address the state of play in youth athletics in the country as it is in this coronavirus era. We also have Catherine Plummer. I argued in a blog on my website that she's the greatest collegiate volleyball player ever. 3-time national champion at Stanford, a multiple player of the year, and she's going to be one of the great players in our country's history by the time she's said and done. She's outstanding playing pro right now, so she's on the show tomorrow. The following day, Thursday, is when we drop our video and audio podcasts. Now, again, all of these you can find on our website. That, of course, is the world-renowned ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr. It was awesome. He dropped by here, what we call the 7428 studio, and he did a long interview. So that's great because it gives us 4-part series where you're going to learn a lot, not only about boxing, history of boxing, touch points in his career, but also a lot about him and how he came up through the sport. And, of course, his father, our Uncle Jim, Jimmy Lennon Sr., the great boxing announcer, is a subject at hand there, too. And then finally on Friday, it's our happy hour show where we kind of let it fly, a Tonight Show, Dick Cavett meets, David Frost kind of show. And this Friday is going to be a blast because Jimmy Jr. is going to be here to pump the fact that he's on the podcast, but so is Chris McGee, who is the Lakers studio host on Sportsnet LA, and he's hilarious. He's going to be here. And you know who else? Boom Mancini, who attended a couple of our VBCs back in the day, and Ray Boom Mancini will also be on the show. So will Shay Cotton, who has a documentary coming out called Man-Child, and there's some other special guests. So that was my shameless plug while I got all of your attention. All right, as we head back to our show, let's bring back in Kip and Mike.
Kip and Mike. I'm gonna find him. You should really.
Can you find him? I should have said something in advance. That's a 1986 trophy. Shout out. Oh, hi, Mike.
Gilbert, Santa Monica.
Dennis.
Yes.
One of the things that I want to say is that for people who aren't familiar with the tournament, we're all talking pretty quick. And people need to understand that the whole nature of the tournament that made it so genius was that you did not know who your partner was going to be until the night before the tournament. And all you guys ranked everybody and put everybody in as an A player, which is like a hitter, a blocker, the big tall guys that were great athletes, and then a B player. And B players basically just needed to be able to bump and set and stand up for 10 hours or whatever. And so that's what made it so genius. And that's when Ray made the box, was because you had to pick from an A and a B player. And that's why he was called the box cobbler, because every Friday night we'd all come to your house the night before the tournament, and then they start to pick the big A player, A, Michael Boley, and everyone would go, woo, who's going to get Michael Boley? And then, whoever the partner was going to be, Barbara Barnes, Pete Valenzuela, Markey, all these people in our family that are good enough athletes to be playing in the tournament, but aren't playing anywhere else. So that's what the genius of it was for the audience as well. was to be there all day until like 10 o'clock at night. And your feet are sore and you're tired and you're sunburned and you're so happy and nobody knows whether to wear tennis shoes or be barefoot or what to do because you have to last so long on that grass. And anyway, there's just so many different magical aspects of it that I think if somebody wasn't there, they don't quite know what we're talking about because we're talking so fast.
Yeah, it was kind of like Dancing with the Stars before Dancing with the Stars. Because you'd have a pro guy play with my brother Mark, who's never played volleyball before in his life. It's just crazy the combinations you would get of people that no one would ever expect.
Yeah. And then at halftime, you know, some of these guys would be there that were like real players. And then they'd have to stop at halftime in the middle of the day because we do the midday ceremonies. And we would crown the king and queen. And then Marky would sing this song. And then we would do the national anthem. And it was like, it was kind of like if it got too serious, that's when we would have to joke around a little bit. And we would razz people on center court. And we go, whoa, look, he's got a temper and stuff. And these guys would get so mad. Oh, and the Uncle Tom thing. Nobody explained what that was. Our Uncle Tom, all of our uncle, Tom, he used to say the most like straight ahead advice for sports kind of stuff. Old fashioned, you know, like on the Turkey Bowl, he'd say, we want to score more points than the other team. And, you know, and then we'll win. Like that.
Spread them out.
Yeah, spread them out. And in volleyball, he would always say that if you miss the serve, that's like giving them a point. That's like a wasted point. So Michael got the great idea for us to make samples of that on the keyboard, going, it's a wasted point. It's a wasted point. So after a while, these pro players would be so mad they'd hit it into the net, and Michael would be going, it's a wasted point. It's a wasted point. It was awesome.
The can you go back to that archive? Christine's going to hold up this archive. One of the things that really set us on fire was this right here. This was an article that was like the center part of Volleyball magazine. And it said something like 10 years ago, three teenagers started this tournament. But everybody in volleyball read that magazine back then. And I was announcing on Women's Pro Beach Volleyball at the time. And I would go from city to city. And everybody would come up to me and say, you're that backyard guy. And it really kind of like took us up to this different level. And they had that one aerial shot where Tony Dolan in his plane, he ended up getting arrested when he flew into Santa Monica Airport, but he got so low to get that shot, that aerial shot, but it paid off in the long run.
And also we should tell people the only reason we didn't keep doing it was because we all grew up and everybody got married and moved away from Harding Avenue. And, you know, it was just undoable after everybody got too busy with raising kids and everything else. So otherwise we would have gone forever, it seems like.
Mike, did I
wanted to ask you because I think cousin Kathy Lennon Darris is on the chat, and she was asking how many courts at the max did you have, or did we have?
We went 5 backyards and 3 front yards, and there were a couple of courts that were off of Harding Avenue. One was over at Kevin's house over on Superior, so that was across Lincoln and Venice, and then there was another court that played for a short time. There was another court that played for a short time, and that was Darlene Bible and Pat Bible's backyard. Yeah. And there was a house right next to St. Mark's. And we came up with these great names for all the courts, and that one was great because it was Court de Lane, because it was on Coeur d'Alene Avenue.
Yeah. But didn't we do our front yard even? Yeah. Didn't we do our front yard one year?
Our backyard?
We were desperate for courts.
Yeah, Michael Foley helped me out here.
Yeah.
I think we did our front yard one year.
Yeah, I think so too.
See that was the
great shot up on the roof there. We had the PA up on the roof. Remember? I brought the speaker. We had full commentary, front and backyard.
Oh, so great! And I had we would tell people, you know, the players, like, okay, it really does start at 7 in the morning. They go like, yeah, I'll be there. We go, no, you don't understand. It starts at 7 o'clock in the morning. Like no warm ups. You're starting at 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? We got 64 teams. We got to go all the way through in one day or whatever it was. 64, right?
Yeah, I think we maxed out beyond that at some point. Right up on that was a guy by the name of Tim Simmons. He's currently the press officer for international beach volleyball. Like he does the Olympics press. He came that one year and quantified all of our rankings and put us into this point system. And that's why you know that you were a top 5. Isn't that funny that he did that? Yeah. Mike, did I ever bring up the comparison to the hockey team with your team that won that year?
Yeah, you did earlier, and I tried to, ignore it because I feel, I'm very humble.
Right. Of course. Okay. I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
Kevin.
Kevin.
You know who had to run those brackets all the time was Kevin Lennon. He was kind of the bracket master. He did a lot of work on them. So I want to see if he's still standing and can kind of explain how he worked that grease pen across the old acrylic there, Kev. Grease pen and acrylic.
Kevin looks like a guy that would have a shotgun on his lap.
Can you see my Gilbert's logo?
Yeah, I'll see it.
Anyways, I want to thank Gilbert again.
Gilbert!
It seems like you guys went over pretty much how the whole tournament was run and how what everyone did. So, what do you want to know? Tell me again.
And MB. What's that? About did you have a special fanny pack, belt, anything along these lines to help you when you were working through the brackets? Because you were managing an awful lot.
Yeah, I had a lot of markers. God, what kind of question is that? You guys asked all the good questions. And then you asked me the dumbest question about markers.
I didn't even hear what you asked me. Part.
He's going to shoot you.
Did you remember when you won in 1988?
You want me to talk slower?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys were talking about markers, and I didn't really think that was very relative. So I don't know what to tell you because you talked about, excuse me, Kippy, I'm talking. I don't know what to tell you about everything you've been asking because you covered all the bases.
Sounds like Bill Walton.
You guys.
Yeah.
Y'all talk
and
Ray. Still my turn.
Kip off. Ray Castro. Kip off Ray Castro, please.
Danny, we can hear you getting ready to get it.
I know. I wanted to bring in your body double. Hold on a second. Kip's body double's coming in. Give it 3, 2, and back to Kip Lennon. We lost him for a second. Hi, Kip.
Hey, Kip. Oh my God, let's like it.
Kevin, you kill me. You kill me. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Hey, Ray.
Hey, yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Can you look behind you, that picture up on the wall? Can you pull that picture down and show it to you, the camera on your computer real quick?
Let me see if I can. Hold on a second.
It almost looks like you.
I'm proud of it and I'm not proud of it.
All right, well, hold it up close and then look at the picture so you know what you're showing us. Up higher, right there. Oh, what is that?
Well, I guess Michael Boley might have gotten a good point there. Not a wasted point, but a good point. And I crap.
Hold it higher.
There it is. Okay, tell me whenever.
Yeah, that's me praying to the gods.
Wow.
Michael, I'm glad you had him show that because we're going to cue something up that's going to
Gilbert.
We're going to cue something up here, Ray, that's going to quantify all of this. But Mike Lennon, before you go, I want you to think about what Ray brought to the table.
I'm going to play along with Gilbert's
El Indio, Santa Monica, family owned. Mexican food, margaritas, guacamole, esa. Gilbert's in Santa Monica, Gilbert's El Indio in Santa Monica. ¿Me puedes dar una margarita, por favor, señor?
All right, Mike Bully.
Mike, that. Hey, Ray and I, that's the first time we've ever played it together.
It's good to know.
Maybe I could come on. Maybe I could do a show with you guys.
Stay there. Mike Bowley's in. I need Mike Lennon out because we got to make room for something. Mike, we're coming right back to you. Mike Bowley, one of Ray's pivotal points in his life was when he trap set his partner. You blocked, and it became the point for you. It was a pivotal point in your life. Both of we're going to clear the screen. We're going to show a news report from Prime Network, and here we go.
Clear the whole screen?
Yeah.
Oh, the AVP tour is over. That must mean no more volleyball, right? Well, think again. For one community of volleyball lovers, the summer is still going strong with the Venice Backyard Volleyball Championships.
This is the largest backyard event worldwide, by far.
AVP Tour averages about 30 teams per tournament. This has 64, and they managed to do it all in one day.
Eight backyards. That makes 8 courts. And why do all the neighbors cooperate? Because for the most part, they're all related. Relatives of the Lennon family who have been running this show for the last 10 years.
The controversies, the excitements, the thrills here at the world's largest backyard volleyball tournament is so much greater than anything I've been involved in the past. I can't describe it to you.
The talent level is high, and not surprisingly, some of the pros get more pumped for this tournament than the regular tour.
Oh yeah, there's no carts and Ken around here. Sorry guys, stay home. You're not invited.
Actually, everyone's invited to this gathering. It's more work for the gardeners, more training for the athletes, and more summer for all. A block party that few will forget. More training for the athletes, and more summer for all. A block party that few. More work for the gardeners, more training for the athletes, and more summer for all. A block party that few will forget.
Wow. Were you setting your partner, or were you setting Mike Bowley?
I set my partner. He's the one who hit the ball. What are you talking about?
He was a little tight.
Did he give you a signal before, Mike Bowley? Like, did he go?
Let me explain something.
He felt bad because I hadn't won yet. No
Can I explain something?
John had already won, so he said, "Oh, Michael Wayne, I'm going to set this one close to you."
No, I didn't.
He did.
Can I explain something? Can I explain something?
Absolutely.
The box was made out of the trees in Venice, California.
Okay.
Trees. You know how hard that is to make a box?
Ray, you're underneath your name. It says Trap Center, but I remember you getting best hands one year.
I did. So because I made the boxes so well. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
Ray, who was your best finisher, Ray, at the VBC? Second?
That was the one right there, Mike.
That was the one right there. Thanks for bringing it up, Mike, again. Thanks.
Sorry. I feel bad. I really do.
What? You won it twice. You won it twice.
And when you picked an A player for you, was it the middle box or the A box?
What's that?
When
you win out.
Sean Davis, that was your partner, I believe, was it? The actual A box or the middle box?
A. I was a B. No middle ground, Mike. No middle. I don't know what you're talking about.
Keep it going. Love it.
Keep it.
Joey said I was too the camera.
Kip, about that set.
Joey said I was too close to the computer. So I'm
What? We were talking about your set that lost the. Whoa, Kip. So no, Kip. True or false? You served out on game point of the VBC that you could have won.
Did I? With Francis, my partner was Francis.
Yeah.
We met that morning. We dominated. Sorry. We did really well. Is that? We did really well. We went all the way. We marched right through the winner's bracket. 2 games in the finals to win the thing. And I even served at one point for the championship. We lost.
Kip, where were you ranked in all-time points? If I'm not mistaken, it was in the top 3 or 4, right?
Denny?
Top 5. I know that for sure.
Yeah. Top 4. I thought I was 4. I thought I was number 4.
Wow.
How come everyone else gets to be closer?
No, I want you up closer, please.
All right.
Yeah, this is going to be good. And Kip, I think there was a time where your success was getting more and more each year that we thought about making you an A player. Do you remember that?
I do. Is this right?
That's good.
Okay.
That's too close.
No.
Shotgun guy is back. He's shotgun guy. This is a private meeting.
Kevin,
Oh man.
Sorry.
Wait, should I?
he looks like he was on Tiger King. Look at he's got the
It's like Tiger King with Emmanuel lighting.
I was falling asleep because I wasn't sure if I was still on this podcast.
Well, we want to talk about your red marker.
What color was it?
Kevin, explain about the time that Pete dove into the bushes to get that ball.
You mean speed or velocity?
It's just all of it.
Well, he had nothing but good intentions, but man, he was going fast.
And he's not a little fella.
No, he's not. He's
not a little fella.
I think he's a compact 250, and he can run like the wind. And he hit those bushes like he had done a Brody into a side slide at a NASCAR race. And it was amazing because he actually got the ball up. And that's all I can remember. It was bad.
You know, we doing that tournament, we found a lot of those guys. I remember Ron Roberts was one that no one knew, and all of a sudden he's going cuckoo into the houses and into the stucco, and there's a lot of those guys that showed up and realized what it meant to be in a spotlight like that, especially on center court.
Yeah, Kip,
I Ron Roberts one year.
Yeah, but we'd call them out.
Sorry,
we'd call them out. They didn't have a chance to become assholes. You know that we'd call them out. It was so great.
They'd start to lose their temper.
These guys, they might be watching the podcast.
They weren't allowed.
Yeah.
I said asshole. I love it.
Huh?
So good.
I said asshole.
Yeah, it's kind of naughty.
Yeah.
You know, Gilbert's is sponsoring this.
Yeah, we've heard.
We get it. Yeah. Kippy, did you? Yeah, that was. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, the Gilberts. Well, I think this is going to be something that we can do for so long, and I think we've got so much to cover in this for the VBC. Like it's never ending, and I think there's so many stories to tell with so many other people. But it's so cool to have everybody come in and just share a little bits and pieces of what we're doing. Like I'm looking at who's on, and I think Jet Ray's on. I just saw Jet Ray come on, which is but Tommy Blazer. You know, he was one of our sponsors. And do you guys remember Kevin and Danny? And I don't know if Kip, you were with us. We had to drive down to Orange County. Typical Tommy Blazer. We walk into his conference room, remember? And he was going to present us with a check. And so we're all so excited because it was our title sponsor. And I think it was like $1,000 probably at the time. And so he comes out and he goes, and he had Dave, his partner. He's like, hey, I got some really bad news. We're just not doing that well, and we're not going to be able to sponsor the tournament this year. And we were just like, oh my God. And he was straight faced, totally serious. And he let us get up and walk out until like we were almost out the door, and he just went, I screwed you guys. Haha, I'm giving you guys the money. And we wanted to pull a fast one, but we were just like, God, it was such a Tommy Blazer move. And it was brilliant, just brilliant.
I totally remember going down there and that happening. But that's our family, and that's why we are who we are, and that's why we do what we do. We're able to say, you know, Cutie and Moted and Orlo and all that fun stuff, and we're able to pull those pranks on each other. I got to be honest with you, this guy was one of the best.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to the pit. He was one of the funniest guys when it came to stuff like that. But it was unique, man. It was special. It was unique. It was family. And it was as good as it gets.
And there was nothing more thrilling than waking up in the morning and knowing that you had to go do this all day, and you didn't know what was going to happen. And it was history. In our family, it was you were making history.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like that. All the little kids, all your parents and aunts and uncles and cousins and friends. It was such a thrill. You know,
and we brought so many people together from so many different regions and coasts, and then we had relationships and became friends with all these guys because of that. Today, you know.
You should explain who the picture is of, because no one has said his name. They've just held up the picture.
Said Pitbull. Yeah,
it's our cousin Mark. It's our cousin Mark. Yeah.
And go ahead, Kip.
Yeah. Anyway, he was just such a colorful character in our family, and he died much too soon, and we all miss him so much. But he was so funny and such a good athlete, and he won it.
He won
it hard out. Yeah.
And he won
twice. He won it twice.
And he was the king, right? So he was. I don't think anyone did that.
No, no, it was unbelievable.
Kevin, what were you going to say?
I forget. Sorry. Had too much to say. We'll figure it out next time. Peace.
Genius. Really, really nice. What happened to our host? Dennis?
What? Who?
Dennis.
DR is probably off for a little bit, but I think someone was asking about the king and the queens, and that was another vital part of what we did, you know, and it was so cool to because we got together too, and we got to decide who was going to be our king and our queen for the tournament, and those were exciting times, you know. And remember throwing Parmesan cheese as they were running through our tunnel, like, and Marky making songs. Oh, the king and the queen. I only heard about the king and the queen. Remember that? Oh,
there was, I think, one of the better DB. I think you probably remember this. One of the better king stories was Tom Lennon, one of our older cousins, who I think Boulangerie or something wouldn't give him the day off to go play in the VBC, and he walked away from his job to come play in the VBC, and then ended up having a big run in the tournament and taking over as the king.
Does anybody remember where that cheese came from?
No.
Mass and Cheese sponsored us, and we graded it.
Yeah.
So good.
So good.
Oh.
And how did we vote for king and queen? It was just honorary. We just all we
asked for nominations, but we just do it behind the scenes for sure.
Yeah.
For sure we would.
We and one of the things that I think we haven't mentioned yet is how close St. Mark's School was tied into this. Not only did we all go there, and so we had an affinity for the school, but I was coaching there at the time. So a lot of the kids that were at St. Mark would want to help us and come, and whether they're carrying benches or walking the voting things around or whatever it was, they were so proud to be part of the tournament. And it was kind of cool because you would watch them be some of those workers, and then they play on the St. Mark volleyball teams, and they finally get to the point where they made a high school varsity team, which was, okay, now you can be in the tournament. And then they would perform quite well. And that was kind of like a fun transgression for them.
Yeah, Sweet Lou was one of those players. And he ended up being a hitter. Yeah.
That's right. And one of the sponsors of the Sports Story stuff, Carlos Haro, also was one of those. And he recently, we were sitting down and talking, and he said, you guys don't know how important it was for us to be linked to you guys, because we could bring our friends to the tournament and say, we know you guys, you know, and so they would have such a good day.
Too cool.
Oh, and they liked the fact that the girls knew that they could come to the tournament. And so that was it was a big, I mean, all of that was important because it was such a big social scene, stuff that we weren't really paying attention to because we were both running and playing in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it was so weird to be one of the people running it and playing in the tournament and trying to make sure the PA's set up. And Michael's literally plugging in microphones, then running out, playing a game, then coming back. And then Kevin has to quick add the names, and then run across the street and play a game. Like, there was no feeling like that. And then you start hearing so-and-so's winning. So-and-so's winning a lot. Like, you don't have time to watch anybody else's games, really. And so then you just keep hearing about somebody's hot and this team's coming up, and such a thrill.
I want to bring Michael back because I want to answer his question about his court on the front. I think he asked about playing on the front lawn.
Michael Lennon, yeah.
Yeah. And
I don't think Christine knows who he is. There he is. Okay.
There he is. Wow. Michael, I want to get to your question about the front lawn of your mom and dad's house, my grandma and grandpa.
I thought
I don't think we did, but I wanted to ask. It's okay. Okay, yeah, we did. We did. That was really cool. I remember doing that. It was great. Grandpa yelled at me for doing something wrong. I forget what it was. But
I think there was a court on Superior, though, wasn't there?
Kevin's backyard.
In Kevin's backyard.
Kevin's backyard for sure. That was our last one. That was the one that we added. It was Kevin's backyard.
Hey.
But here's the thing. It was that backyard.
If you guys want some information, let me know.
Wow.
Kevin, did you have a court in your backyard?
Yeah, we did. And we also had the party there.
It was beautiful. I don't remember the party. We had a party?
Yeah, the house, back then my house was called Casa de Cantaloupe.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But let's not forget, we had all on one block courts. We had 9 courts all on one block. Like it's not heard of. Like how did that come about? You know, remember we talked about doing the vacant lot? We're gonna do the vacant lot, doing courts on the vacant lot. We asked the Allens if we could take over the vacant lot, and that didn't work. But we played on with just one block. No one has that. There's no one who can do that.
That should be saved for a show with Billy and Brian Sacramone and all the guys that recruited all the courts, and we built them all and maintained them and landscaped them.
But you guys can tell. Yeah, I agree with you, Kev. I want you guys to tell.
It's too hard to do the show in one day. We need to.
No, absolutely. This is just to touch on what we do and how we do it. But I think what people need to know too is about our family and what we do. Like there's so many things. Kippy and Michael and Kevin, if you guys can elaborate, because you're a little older than I am, and your dads were the patriarchs of this. But Turkey Bowl, Halloween, like touch on those things that were so important and why we were so good at what we did, because we loved to put on shows. It was an entertainment. It was awesome. But touch on those, because we still have a Turkey Bowl that's been going on for 60 something years straight. Like wild, really wild football game.
Yeah. I wanted to touch for a second on the music thing. You know, we saw the video specials and stuff, and it was funny because when Denny said, we were like, oh, we got all the Venice tracks because we were recording the records at home. And so I had the bare tracks of the Venice music. Kip and I and cousin Marky and cousin Pat Lennon are in Venice, the band Venice. And we had all these tracks from, I guess it was Garage Demos at the time. But so we took our music tracks and then we made sponsor advertisements for all the different sponsors, like custom for each one. Remember? We didn't play their typical thing. We made up like Shasta and all these incredible advertisements, but it was all done right, you know, in the studio from our tracks, and then we totally re-sang everything and made the advertisements. It was a pretty cool combination, like you said, of just, okay, now we're going to put on a show. I'm bringing more speakers. We're going to have front and backyard, and we're going to have live music and live commentary. It's pretty awesome.
And the truth is, I mean, for people who don't know, like, we grew up with so much of our family doing this kind of stuff. So it was just a normal, like, once we started the tournament, like, okay, and then we'll do this, and then we'll add music, and then we'll do, you know, like, because we grew up around a bunch of people who wanted to put on a Halloween show for 25 years and want to do a Turkey Bowl every Thanksgiving with referees and uniforms and teams for over 60 years. Like, you know, that's a year to grow up in. So we're really.
Mike, what happened to Mike? I wanted to ask him a question.
Hi, Ray.
Hi, Kevin. Mike, are you there?
Right.
So, Kevin, is Mike trying to take my job?
That's cold. Which one? Because you were pretty genius at what you did.
Where is everybody? I wanted to ask Michael a question, damn it.
I don't know.
Santa Monica.
Are you trying to take my job, my advertisement from me?
Hey, Ray, bite on this.
Is that a Gilbert's from Indio?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. What's up, Kevin?
It's on this side. You know, the camera's backwards.
Ah, your hand's on it.
Yeah.
There it goes.
So, Ray.
Yeah.
Tell everyone where the box cobbler came from.
That was what I wanted to know.
Well, Kevin, funny you should say that because I think you gave me that moniker, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He's right, Kev.
Because it was so genius, right, Ray?
I think it was you, Kevin, and you called me that, and I think it was because we were making that calendar.
DB.
No, I think it's because you were so genius
DB for
that you could manipulate the.
Whoa! No manipulating.
No,
that.
You know, remember David Copperfield?
Yes.
Okay. He's a pretty famous magician.
Yeah.
He used to make like he could chop someone in half and then spread the body and then they wouldn't be really chopped in half and like right. And you were pretty good at that. So
sleight of hand.
Hey, Ray.
That box, when you would make that box, it was like, oh my God, he just manipulated the world as we know it, and he can bend reality.
I did mention. Hey,
man, that's the box cobbler because you were doing that out of cardboard.
Hey, Ray.
Yeah.
Where's MB or Denny?
What's that?
Well, I need to pull up MB or Denny on this as well with Kevin.
Kippy, wake up.
MB or Denny, you got to be on this with me right now. But I will say, all the texts that are coming in, guys, we're going to be doing this every Tuesday, so we can't tell the whole story in one thing. So that's if you have questions answered, there will be answered. But we're going to do this for weeks and weeks, just to let you know.
Danny, but we're given an outline of what's going to come up.
It's a good point, DB. I think it's time to land this plane.
Danny, hold on one sec.
Yes, sir.
While we're on this, do you remember when Ray made a mistake and didn't have enough bees? And we had to go, oh God, who are we missing? And
I never made a mistake.
He kind of walked away for about 2 days or 3 days, like, oh my God, I can't believe.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I don't remember that, Danny.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Is it?
Why you got to say that?
Why you got to say that?
It wouldn't be a good show if we didn't have controversy.
No, you got it wrong. Is there tape? Do you have tape on that? I don't think so.
Wait,
I love it. Good on you, Ray. You're the best, buddy.
Thank you, Dan.
Ray. Okay, good. Whew. Okay. Exhausting, right? Can you imagine being Christine, having to control all of that? All right, look, today we're having a good time going over a lot of stuff, hitting there. In the succeeding weeks, we're really going to dive into either just specific parts of the VBC as we go each and every Tuesday. And we're going to ask more and more users like to get involved, subscribers, anybody who's watching the show. So if you could send us either your archives that you have to info@sportsstoriespodcast.com. That's one place to send it. You can get all this information on our website at sportsstoriespodcast.com. You can send us there whatever or ideas you have for the show, because I certainly think we're going to dive into certain segments of the VBC each and every week, and we'll be a little bit more disciplined. But we hope that you enjoyed today, because today was fun. We want to show you a few of the cast of characters, or we're still missing some key ones, and we'll bring those to you in the next few Tuesdays. Again, I want to remind everybody, if you could, love the support got so far from the family and those beyond. But tomorrow's going to be a great show on our Facebook Live with Roger Gowdy, Catherine Plummer, and then Jimmy Lennon. It's a great interview that drops on Thursday, and then join us Friday night for the cocktail hour, for the happy hour. All right, this is VBC on Tuesday, and we're glad you're here. And stick around, because as we roll all through this, eventually you get to see some box cobbler entertainment. All right, see you, everybody.
Thank you.
Oh, wouldn't it be nice to play volleyball in your big backyard? And wouldn't it be nice to call your buddies, then they come on over and have a ball? But then we make a tournament out of it, and everyone would want to play and shout about it. Play and shout about it. Oh, wouldn't it be nice? See you next week.
Sports Stories with Denny Lennon is supported by the AAU. Find a local event and join at aausports.org. And remember, you can catch your favorite amateur sports live stream, replays, and highlights at ballertv.com. Sports Stories, along with East Bay, supports the Heroes Movement, a nonprofit that bridges the gap from mental or physical therapy to getting strong again through strength and conditioning workouts. This free service is available for any veteran of the United States Armed Forces. Visit heroesmovementusa.org for more information. Sports Stories, along with thousands of people across the country, also supports the My Stuff Bags Foundation, a nonprofit that provides traumatized children with new belongings and new hope. Learn more at mystuffbags.org. Sports Stories with Denny Lennon is a production of Sports Stories, Inc. and is available on Apple Podcasts and YouTube or wherever you listen and watch. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and give us a review. It really helps spread the word. You can find all our social media links, archives, and other info on our website at sportsstoriespodcast.com. Special thanks to the John R. Wooden Course and Wooden's Wisdom. Original music for Sports Stories is courtesy of Lennon Music Productions. Original images by Sienna Lennon Photography. Sports Stories is produced by Marley Rice, edited by Bob McCall, and researched by Teresa Dolan. Additional staff include Christine Jimbo, Jake Downey, Ray Castro, and Buck Magic Lennon. Kick it out, Buck!
Yeah, kick it out! Kick it out! Yeah, buddy! Way to kick it out! Good job!